Good evening, sophomore class. This is Mr. Dunphy. Just wanted to check in with you guys now that the global January Regents is over. Just wanted to look at actually 3 questions because, as many of you know, hopefully everybody knows, we had they put up this PowerPoint in an effort to help you look at some of the weaker spots that we're having right now, some of the troubles, basically, the problems that we have with the global subject, the areas, the place we really need to take a hard look at and do better with. Okay, that's really what this is about, and things that will be on your final. Okay, so there were, just to kind of backtrack. Okay, working from the back here. All right, the DBQ on this year's Regents actually pictured some elements of child labor. Okay, child labor was not the focus. In fact, I'll read it to you. The focus of this year's DBQS, of this January's DBQS, was throughout history, the need and desire for certain products has led to a long-lasting effect on people, societies, and regions. Some of these products include salt, sugar, and cotton. And one way you could actually discuss how any of these products influence people or society was how, in an effort to manufacture products out of these raw materials I just mentioned, child labor does become an unfortunate part of society. Okay, and it did come up. Okay, it might have been mentioned actually in another document as well. So this is, the point of guys I'm trying to make is that this is on the Regents. These things that we're trying to practice and really hit home, right? These problems that we're looking at, they're here. The same would be true of this slide about the Industrial Revolution and how this plays a part in trade, right? And of the products, again, I mentioned like sugar, for example, and how this is playing a part in the Industrial Revolution and manufacturing of these raw materials again and again. Okay, well, let's go to a couple of other things as we move down. The fair is definitely part of that too. But all of these slides could be the basis for some knowledge, outside information, what have you, in terms of this year's DBQ. Okay, let's go to question 19, actually. All right, and question 19 was actually about mercantilism. This topic, okay, and mercantilism, as you guys hopefully have learned about, and hopefully will relearn, and it'll be retaught to you. The question of the Regents this January, last week, was which idea is most closely associated with the economic concept of mercantilism? One response was colonies exist to provide raw materials and markets for a colonial power. 2, wealth and power are based on land exchange between nobles. 3, goods and services are traded without government interference. Or 4, property is owned collectively and administered by the state. All right. The answer there is 1. Colonies exist to provide raw materials and markets for colonial power. I mean, if you look at some of these things here, right, the idea is, we're looking at American colonists in this, but that American colonists feel so victimized because all they're doing is really for the purpose of something else or for someone else or some other government, right, that they feel they don't belong to in the American way. But just in general, the idea that a system of political and economic policy evolving from the modern national state and seeking to secure a national political and economic supremacy in its rivalry. The point of mercantilism, guys, is to understand this. There's only a small amount of resources on the planet. This is what we have, right? No one's making any more land, no one's making any more of certain kinds of products, right? We're seeing it now with oil, right? Why are gas prices so high? Oil is a matter of supply and demand. Prices are going to go up as that supply, right, is lessened, okay? And drives demand up, of course, right? But in this case, the same would be true. Mercantilism is a system where certain nation states, like France or England, is trying to take as many resources as they possibly can. That's why they create colonies. They want these raw materials so they can manufacture them. Right? Brings us back to the Industrial Revolution conversation we were having earlier in the screencast. So just keep in mind, guys, colonies exist to provide raw materials. They exist to benefit the mother country. That's it. That's why colonies exist. That's why colonists exist. It would make you feel like a victim too, if that was the case. All right? And your only job is to provide for this other place that you're also supposed to call your home and your government. Okay, that's what mercantilism is. It was on this Regents. It's been on past Regents. It's always on the Regents. Okay, if it's not, it is outside information. Okay, and something you should use on essays. But just understand that it is a likelihood that this will be on June's Regents, and we need to nail it right now and understand what it is, so that come June we are prepared for that. Okay? Question 22. Okay, question 22 was in regards to John Locke. And John Locke, I believe, was on 2 questions, in fact, right? This one. In fact, I just ended up taking the questions themselves. All right. So the question on this Regents last week was, which idea is central to John Locke's 2 treatises of government? First response was, the government's power comes from the consent of the people. 2, predestination will determine who will go to heaven. 3, famine, disease, and conflict are natural checks on population growth. Or 4, the have-nots will rise up and overthrow the government of the haves. Okay, the haves and have-nots. So, based on those types of things, right, the answer here was 1, okay, again it's 1, a government's power comes from the consent of the governed. Okay, every time. This is what it is, guys. Okay, this is what John Locke is talking about. We the people in our Constitution, the preamble of the Constitution, is a reflection of that. Okay, we're not talking about U.S. history, all right, but all of these ideas of the social contract, what's doing, what is best for the society, what's best for the people who live in society, the commonwealth, right, is or should have come from the government, the people that are under a government, that live under that government and that society. Okay, that's what John Locke's talking about. Okay, and so on and so forth. Life, liberty, and property, right? Consent of the government. 22. 30. Okay, was about Lenin, and there's a lot of questions here about communism. I'm trying to find those. All right, so Communist Manifesto, Marx and Engels. At this point, you probably have gotten to Lenin. Maybe some of you have not. All right, but I'm going to read the question. All right, which action was taken by the Bolsheviks under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin? 1, supporting a traditional economy. 2, eliminating political opposition. 3, surrendering to the provisional government. Or 4, extending the war against Austria-Hungary. Okay, and the answer here was 2, eliminating political opposition, right? So, what they find is, communists fine, or socialists fine, right, that in order to stay in power, right, they have to eliminate those people who disagree with their ideals, okay, and their principles, as it states here. What are their principles? It is in this PowerPoint, it's in this slide. You have to take a look at these things. 19, 22, and 30 were all directly on this PowerPoint. They're, targeted, guys, because these are the problems we've been having so far. I need you to look at these again, all right, understand them. They will be on your final exam. Okay, and really keep in the back of your mind that these are realistic Regents questions and ones that we're all going to have to deal with. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge we can get through together. Okay, if you need help, you come to me, 139. Okay, you can head motor me, just put Mr. Dunphy in, or whatever it might be. Okay, I'm happy to help. Okay, all of us are happy to help. Social studies teachers, we want to help you get through this challenge. Okay, so get back. All right, guys, that's your Regents flash for this time, but we'll have another one soon.